I will agree with you. I think I do agree with you on that whole Yang gang on that stuff. I mean, to be honest with you, that whole universal income. I mean, $1,000. I make more than that, and I'm a fucking janitor. I think
Okay.
it's completely stupid, and it will actually make more laziness. And you know what? The biggest problem is the welfare system.
Listen, man, that's your white privilege talking. Okay, $1,000
No,
bucks.
white privilege has nothing to do with white privilege in the first place.
$1,000 a month could make a huge difference in people's lives. There's people who are surviving on much less than that every day, working their fucking ass off and not making as much as you do. Okay, and like,
yeah, I used to work fast food part time, so I completely understand that. It has nothing to do about my skin color.
Okay, well, white privilege only applies to people who are white, homie.
So explain to me the CEO of BET.
You didn't create your white privilege, but you have it.
There's no such thing as white privilege, man.
Okay, so when was the last time you got pulled over for being black? When did that happen?
I've been pulled over.
I have friends that can tell you it happens to them at least once a week.
There you go. There you go. I get pulled over all the time.
Pull over my shit, and I do not get pulled over for it, dude. I have never once with this white, even though I'm part Latinx, man, I look white. I have never been in a fucking neighborhood where a cop went, man, he looks out of place here and pulled me over. I have friends that happens to regularly. The only difference between me and them is they got black skin and I don't. White privilege does exist. And when you don't acknowledge that it exists, you bolster it. And that's a fucking historically fascist thing to do as well. This country was set up by wealthy white men who wanted to protect the interests of wealthy white men.
Do I look wealthy to you?
Doesn't matter. You still get to enjoy the white privilege that comes with the way this country is structured and its history. It is set up to facilitate white people, and it targets people who aren't white for oppression. That's why we have this mass incarceration thing. That's the 13th Amendment exception clause, which I mentioned earlier, which allows for slavery if you've been convicted of a crime, which was put in place the same time as the 14th Amendment, which freed the slaves. But then it created this law, like if we arrest you for loitering, we can put you in prison and make you a slave of the state as opposed to working directly for the plantation owner. But then the prison would then just lease out the prisoners back to the plantation where they just been freed from. Okay, so I kind of went off.
I don't agree with that. I simply don't agree with that system. But also, you have to realize it's the fatherless households. It could be the end result of that.
So ultimately, you got to understand where the reason for the fatherless households comes from, homie. It's because they live in an oppressive state that is set up to bolster the interests of white, wealthy, rich guys. Okay, like. That doesn't mean that every single white person in the country has all the same privileges as the elite ruling class. But what you don't have to experience is all the oppressive mechanisms that are in place to bring people down that don't look like you, man. And when you ignore that happens to other people every fucking day, when they get murdered in their fucking grandma's backyard and have 2 fucking clips unloaded in them in their fucking grandma's backyard, and then those pigs don't get fucking arrested and serve no fucking time for that, that's white privilege. That's white privilege, man. That doesn't happen to white people.
So that does happen to white people, by the way. There's plenty of reports of older white men getting run over by cars, by police officers, and shot.
But
video, by the way.
Hey, cops still kill white people, dude. Make no mistake, man. A pig will fucking shoot you. He doesn't give a fuck if you're white or black. But if you're black, you're more likely to get shot. That's why these don't get taken down, but the guy with a fucking half cigarette on the corner does. The trip, man.
But I have one question for you on that. On the note that you were just bringing up, is what is your feelings then towards like affirmative action?
God, I would love to see a time when we didn't need it, and it's troublesome. It has its problems. It always has. Leftists that support it have always said that. But it was a step towards integration. Black kids were not allowed to be in schools with white people. And it's still rampant where across the board, black neighborhoods, their schools are just garbage. They're totally underfunded. They're totally over fucking seated, and then the communities that have experienced the privilege that being white brought them and the prosperity that it brought them have really, really great schools where their kids
explain to me
really, really great things and get accepted into really great colleges. Where black kids go to a shit school that has one calculator in it and 5 kids are sharing a history book and none of them get to take it home. You can roll your fucking eyes, but that's reality, dude. And these people don't get
explain to me about the other white guys who live in the bad neighborhoods as well.
They don't get a proper education. And while they're walking home, they got 15 fucking squad cars patrolling their fucking neighborhood while this kid's walking home from school. But he gets busted for the joint that your homie had who's white and didn't get busted because he doesn't have cops patrolling his fucking way home from school every day. But now this kid who's 12 years old, who's got popped for a joint, who's black, he's in the system now. Now he's on probation. Now the cops are fucking with him all the time. Now next time a cop pulls up on him and rubs him the wrong way or just doesn't like the look of the fucking kid and he looks at his record and says, this guy's a fucking got priors. Now they're throwing this fucking kid on the ground. Then he starts to fight back, so they shoot him and they fucking kill him. Well, now he's 35 years old and he's got a kid at home. So now that kid doesn't have a fucking father, man. And it's not that fucking father's fault. It's this white supremacist fucking system that created those conditions. Why that father isn't there now. All because that kid fucking got caught with a joint while walking home from school, where every other fucking white kid's got fucking better joints in their pocket because their mommy daddy got better money to buy the dank shit. Kid fucking life ruined over a seedy ass fucking brown joint, man.